Congrats to Hofstra, man. They were terrific. We knew coming in that Davis was an outstanding player and was having a great year, averaging 19 point something a game over the last 5 games. It was a 20.8 a game, and he was terrific. He was, by far the best player on the floor tonight. He was terrific. He got anywhere he wanted, really throughout the whole game, but especially to start the game. I'm really disappointed in us, and this is not taking anything away from them, but we didn't play with the necessary force that's required to be good on either side of the ball. It manifested itself in both ways, with our inability to keep the ball in front of us, not getting into the ball against their ball screen coverages, against their ball screen actions, I should say, which I thought led to us being really poor offensively in the first half. And that's on me. I have to do a better job. I'm not doing a good job. What I'm saying, what we're trying to do, what we're trying to work on is not resonating. And that starts with me, because this is a pattern of people getting in our paint, scoring in our paint, not being able to guard the basketball one-on-one. And when we don't do that, it usually leads to us not being good offensively, which we were not in the first half. We were better offensively in the second half, played with a little bit more force. We did some good things during that run, and I think we got it to 3 at one point, but then right away they go on a 7-0 run. We give up a straight line drive to Cruz, who gets an and one, and then we give up a couple of offensive rebounds where they score. And so the physical and mental stamina that it requires to be a good team, we don't have that right now. And that's something that we have to continue to work on, continue to try to develop, and hopefully at some point we get it.
You talk about the message maybe not resonating with the team. I mean, what can you do to maybe fix that, get that to resonate?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I have to really think about it. We have some time before we play again. We'll go into exams starting tomorrow. But I have to figure something out. I have to figure something out, because what we're doing is not working. This team for the game shot 52% from the floor against us. If you look at both halves today and then the second half against Texas A&M, that's 3 halves in a row where a team has shot 50% or better. You're not going to win games like that. And so we have to do a better job on that side of the basketball. From the beginning, from the time this team got together, that's what we talked about, where we wanted to hang our hat. And we've shown at times that we can do it, but it's gotta be who we are. And we have to understand the importance of it all the time. That's what we have to do to give ourselves a chance to win. If we do that at the level that we need to do it, that we have to do it, then we'll have a chance to win. If we don't, we can lose to anyone. And this game's another example of that. But I have to think, it's a long-winded answer, but I have to think about that, figure out something different, because what I'm doing is not working.
Brandon Cummings had a pretty great game today, 34 points. Do you see him as a leader for this Pitt team?
I think he can be. He has been. It's been challenging for him because he was injured a lot of the summer. Then he started playing well at the beginning of the season, and then getting ready for our 3rd game, he rolled his ankle. He missed a game, tried to come back and play 2, wasn't 100%, sat for another couple of games. And then, his first game back was Texas A&M, was a tough game for him personally. Didn't score. It's probably the first time in his life that he's played in a game where he played extended minutes that he didn't score. But he had only practiced for 2 days after being in the boot for 5 days. I thought he really practiced well the past couple of days. He seemed like to have a little bit more pop. And he had an outstanding game, and especially a really, really great second half.
Jeff, do you worry about your team's confidence in
Yeah.
themselves?
I do.
Like this?
Yeah, I do. I've worried about it for a while. We have some young guys on our team that have to be good players for us. And that's a lot of pressure when you've never dealt with that pressure on this level. It's completely different from high school. And even, Noyes is a sophomore, Like I've said, he played 85 minutes last year, so it was essentially like a freshman. And so all the things that go into becoming a good player, you know, for these guys, it has to be accelerated, and there's a learning curve. And unfortunately, we don't have a lot of older guys with experience to kind of help them through this process. And so there are going to be some peaks and valleys. There are going to be some highs and lows. The thing we have to try to do is not let the lows get too low. You know, hopefully we can have some highs. You know, we had one against Ohio State a couple of games ago. But I do worry about that. That's something that we have to continue to work with our guys with.
Do you think your team handles the lows well? Like you said, not wanting to let them get too low.
I don't think we've handled anything well this year, to be completely honest with you. You know, I just don't. And again, that's on me. I have to figure out a way to get the importance of defense, guarding the basketball, keeping guys out of our paint so we stay out of rotations, rebounding the basketball, and playing with the necessary force. I have to do a much better job of getting that message across. And then when we show up out here, making sure it translates from the practice court. We have to be able to do it when the lights are on.
You called a timeout at the beginning of the second half, and coming out of the timeout, that's when you guys, Brandon really got going, the spark. Did you like that response from your team?
I did like that response, but it shouldn't take that. And that's the frustration. You know, the way we played it in the first half, what we talked about at halftime, and then we come out to start, and we still don't have that force. We still don't have it. And, you know, after that timeout, now we did for a while, but we weren't able to sustain it. Again, we got it to 3, we're right there, but then a couple of mental mistakes, a couple of, you know, turnovers, and not playing with the force that's necessary. I sound like I'm in Star Wars. But you know, we have to do it.
Is it a matter of what you're teaching or how you're teaching it? Is it both?
Great question. Great question. I've asked that question to myself a lot. Chris, I wish I had the answer for you. I do. I don't have the answer right now, but I will before Saturday.
You just talked about players who need to step up and lead the team. Cam Corrin, the player that has played for this team before, do you see him kind of taking up one of those roles?
Cam's not going to be a vocal leader. That's
Okay.
not who he is. Cam's a guy that works really hard. You know, he cares, but you know, this is a different experience for Cam. There's a responsibility that comes with being one of, or if not the best player on the team. There's a responsibility that comes with that. And it goes well beyond scoring and rebounding. And you have to be able to have impact if you're not scoring. You have to be able to have impact, with Cam, he's the quarterback of our defense from the standpoint of most teams we play run ball screen actions, a lot of ball screen action. So he's the guy that has to be calling all the coverages and quarterbacking all of that stuff. He's got to be able to be totally engaged all the time if he's not getting the ball, if he's not scoring. To start the game, they didn't guard Roman, they doubled Cam. You can't let your frustration with that take you out of doing other things. He has to get better with that.
Good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.